and the other one call it the context, and the other one call it user. So this user, for example user 1, I wanted to interact with my production cluster. So once we run kubectl, the kubectl will go to the config file in the context and especially in the current context, and then look for that context, that is here the name of the user at the name of the cluster. It means that look this config file to kubectl as long as you are running by this current user, then I will take you to this cluster. You can, if you have another cluster, you can create that or set another cluster with different IP server or IP address, sorry, the server URL, and then you can create a context and create another user. I will show you how you can do that, and then you can modify the context by specifying the user, and this user will interact with this cluster. So in under the hood, what happened is that once we create cluster, it's generate for us a current context where it's combined the user with the cluster that we want this user to interact with. So this one is this context is enable us every time the user will send a request to the IP server on the master node, then that command will go to the config file, look for the current context, and then forward that request to the user to a specific cluster that has been specified in the context in the config file. I hope that's clear for you. Now I will clear that, and now it's time it is time to dive into our CI/CD pipeline. So the first thing that I will begin with is to launch a new service called the AWS Cloud 9. It is an IDE. It's like Visual Studio Code that enable us to run the terminal, edit codes, etc. So instead of using my local Visual Studio Code, make changes and push them to GitHub, I will use the AWS Cloud 9 because these tools will enable us to create a corporate and invite people to practice or to to modify with us or add lines of codes with us. For example, if we are a team and we have 3 people working on a production environment, then you can use AWS Cloud 9, and these 3 users will be able to share the same projects on AWS via the AWS Cloud 9 feature. So first thing I'm going to do, scroll down, go to services, and then go to Cloud 9. Create an environment. I will call it Azure AWS Cloud 9. Cloud 9. Next step, I will go with the defaults, right? And then create my environment. I will go to my GitHub, and then scroll down here to my repositories, and this is the project that we will work on it. So we have to wait until this AWS code 9 created. In the same time, let me launch the other services that we will need, like code build, code build, code pipeline, and as well the S3 bucket, where we will store our artifacts. So I'll stop the video until the Cloud9 created, then I come back. So now our Cloud9 is created. You have this nice terminal here. What we are going to create now, or what we are going to do now, is to clone this GitHub repository to our Cloud9. But this time we will not use the HTTPS clone, but instead we will use an SSH. And they will show you how you can work with that. But first thing, let me show you, if you are first time doing that, and copy that, paste it, then hit enter. Type in yes, and then it told you, warning, sorry, new terminal. Don't know why this one not clone, and they paste that here, and it told me, please make sure you have the correct access right. So, or how can I do that? So to achieve that, the first thing you have to do is to generate a key pair, a public key and private key on your Cloud9. Then copy your public key to the GitHub, going there, here, and going to the settings and paste that here. I will show you how you can do that. So the first thing is run the command ssh keygen -t rsa e and hit enter. And then git in ssh, sorry, cd under ssh ls, and then cat ad